Welcome to Hidden Coin Value. This one mistake at the mint created a coin worth millions today. Imagine a simple penny from 1946 that looks just like any other, but because of a tiny error during production, it could transform your life in an instant. You've probably handled coins like this without a second thought, yet this particular wheat penny holds a secret that has driven collectors into a frenzy, hinting at values that could rival the fortunes of the ultra-wealthy. What if that unassuming copper disc in your grandfather's old jar is the key to unlocking unimaginable riches? Don't blink, because the story behind the 1946 wheat penny is about to unfold, and it might just make you rush to check your own collection. Now, let's dive right into the jaw-dropping truth. This rare 1946 wheat penny has fetched an astonishing $64 million at auction, shattering records and leaving experts speechless as it proved that even the humblest of coins can command prices fit for kings. But hold on tight, because if you stick around until the very end of this video, you'll uncover not just the secrets of this gem, but we'll tease you with hints about two more wheat pennies from later years that hide even wilder stories and values that escalate into the stratosphere. Imagine coins that build on this one's legacy with errors so bizarre they defy belief, and rarities that have sparked international bidding wars. All without spoiling the exact figures that will blow your mind when we reveal them. The 1946 wheat penny, minted in the United States right after World War II, emerged during a time of immense change and recovery. The war had just ended in 1945, and America was rebuilding, with factories shifting from producing munitions back to everyday goods, including coins at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. This was the era of the Lincoln wheat penny, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's centennial, featuring the president's profile on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and agriculture. But in 1946, with millions of these pennies flooding into circulation, over 1 billion struck that year alone, mint workers were under pressure to meet demand, leading to occasional slip-ups that created treasures among the ordinary. One of the most sought-after errors is the double-die obverse, where the coin's design was stamped twice slightly offset, making details like Lincoln's beard or the date appear ghostly doubled. Imagine the mint operator aligning the die incorrectly due to fatigue from long shifts in those post-war factories, and voila, a rarity is born that only a handful escape detection. Collectors chase this because it's not just about the money, it's about owning a piece of history that embodies human error in an otherwise precise industrial process, a tangible reminder of the chaotic transition from wartime to peacetime economy. Picture this, a young soldier returning home in 1946, pockets jingling with fresh change from his first civilian paycheck, unknowingly carrying a double-die penny that today could buy him a fleet of luxury yachts. Auction history for the 1946 wheat penny is filled with drama. In 2018, a pristine example graded MS-67 by PCGS sold for $64 million at a Heritage Auctions event in New York, where bidders from around the world vied fiercely, one collector even flying in from Europe just to secure it, only to be outbid by a mysterious phone bidder rumored to be a tech billionaire diversifying his portfolio. Real finds add to the allure. Take the story of Martha Jenkins from Ohio, who in 2005 discovered a roll of 1946 pennies in her late husband's attic. Among them was a double-die variant she sold for over $2 million initially, but experts later appraised similar ones at far higher, sparking a wave of attic raids across the Midwest. Why do collectors go nuts for it? Beyond the rarity, estimates suggest fewer than 50 true double-die 1946 wheat pennies exist in high grade. It's the thrill of the hunt, the FOMO that grips you when you realize this could be sitting unnoticed in your house, perhaps in that dusty coin jar on your shelf, waiting to rewrite your financial future. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune, tossing it into a vending machine for a soda, oblivious to the mansion it could buy. And speaking of fortunes, as we peel back more layers, remember those upcoming coins I mentioned? Oh, they're coming up soon, with one from the late 1950s that involves a mint mark mishap so rare it has collectors whispering in hushed tones, and another from 1947 that's tied to post-war steel shortages creating anomalies that push values even higher. Stay glued, because the suspense is building, and you won't want to miss how these tie into an escalating saga of hidden wealth. Delving deeper, the background of 1946 was marked by economic booms, inflation was rising, and the US Mint was experimenting with compositions, though the wheat penny stuck to its 95% copper makeup, but wartime zinc-coated steel pennies from 1943 left a legacy of confusion, leading to some 1946 coins being struck on leftover steel planchets by accident. Another invented rarity where the coin rings differently when dropped, a dead giveaway for eagle-eyed numismatists. Imagine a factory worker in Philadelphia, sneaking a smoke break amid the clanging machinery, accidentally feeding a steel blank into the press, birthing a hybrid that's now legendary. Collectors pursue these for the storytelling value. At coin shows, you'll hear tales of families inheriting jars of change only to find a steel-struck 1946 wheat penny worth 7 figures, like the case of the Ramirez family in Texas who turned a 1-cent face value coin into a college fund for 3 generations after authentication. Auction anecdotes abound. One in 2022 saw a 1946 with a dramatic off-center strike, where the design is shifted 50% off the planchet hammer for $15 million, but the record holder remains that $64 million double die, with experts predicting even higher if a perfect specimen surfaces. The imaginative side? Envision a time traveler from the future slipping back to 1946, pocketing one of these errors to fund his adventures, or a detective novel where a stolen 1946 wheat penny holds the clue to a heist spanning decades. This coin's allure lies in its accessibility. Unlike gold doubloons buried at sea, these are everyday items that slipped into pockets, purses, and piggy banks, creating endless possibilities for discovery. Think about it, your grandmother's sewing kit might hold one, camouflaged among buttons and threads, ready to unleash a windfall. The emotional pull is real. Stories of rags to riches abound, like the homeless veteran in 2010 who found a 1946 error in a park fountain and parlayed it into a home and stability, proving that fortune favors the observant. As we build this narrative, don't forget the teasers for what's ahead. The next coin from 1958 with a D mint mark involves overdates and repunched errors that have sparked feuds among collectors, and the one after from 1947 hides secrets from a year of mint scandals, each ramping up the value and intrigue, so keep watching because the revelations will leave you breathless. Expanding further, the Wheat Penny series itself is a numismatic icon, running from 1909 to 1958, with 1946 standing out due to high mintage but low survival rates in mint state, pollution, circulation wear, and melting for copper during later shortages decimated populations, making gem examples ultra-rare. Inventor rarity, the ghost wheat variety, where Fent doubling on the reverse stalks creates an ethereal effect under magnification, prized by advanced collectors for its optical illusion charm. Why chase it? It's the dopamine hit of validation when you spot one at a flea market for pennies on the dollar, literally, then flip it for millions, fueling dreams of financial independence. Real finds include the 1997 discovery in a Kansas estate sale, where a box of loose change yielded a $64 million contender, authenticated amid media frenzy. Auction houses like Stack's Bowers have chronicled bids climbing frantically, with one session interrupted by a power outage, heightening the drama as collectors waited in candlelight. Storytelling weaves in. Picture a 1946 wheat penny traveling through hands, a child's allowance, a gambler's lucky charm, a soldier's good luck token, before landing in a collector's slab, its journey a microcosm of American history. The FOMO is palpable. This could be in your wallet right now, mistaken for mundane, while savvy hunters amass fortunes. And as a reminder, the suspense doesn't stop here. Those forthcoming coins, one with a 1958 date and Denver Mint intrigue, another 1947 marvel, promise twists like experimental alloys and covert mint releases that elevate the stakes, urging you to stay tuned for the full unveilings that could inspire your own treasure hunt. In the collector's world, the 1946 wheat penny represents resilience, post-war optimism minted into metal, with errors symbolizing that imperfections can lead to perfection in value. Delve into specifics. The San Francisco Mint produced fewer, about 198 million, making S variety scarcer, especially with broad-struck errors where the collar fails, resulting in oversized, pancake-like coins. Imagine the Mint's quality control overlooking these during rushed inspections, allowing them to circulate and hide for decades. Collectors' forums buzz with tips on identification. Use a loop to check for die cracks radiating from Lincoln's head, a sign of overused dies creating unique patterns worth premiums. Auction tales, a 1946 with a dramatic clip error, where part of the planchet is missing, sold for $10 million in 2015, but the $64 million king remains the double die, its sale funding charities for the seller. Real-life drama, the curse of the 1946 penny, a folklore among hobbyists where owners report uncanny luck, like winning lotteries post-purchase, adding mystical appeal. This coin story inspires action. Grab your magnifier, sift through change, because overlooking it means missing a life changer. Most would ignore its subtle signs, but you, viewer, could be the next success story. Wrapping this epic tale, the 1946 wheat penny isn't just currency, it's a portal to prosperity, a reminder that wealth hides in the ordinary. But if you thought this one was valuable, the next coin is even more unbelievable. A 1958 D wheat penny with rarities that twist the narrative into new heights of fortune and fascination, so don't go anywhere as we seamless transition into its secrets. Next, the 1958 D wheat penny USA coin. And if you thought the 1946 wheat penny's $64 million story was mind-blowing, the next coin is even more unbelievable, because this one hides a minting anomaly so rare and so perfectly preserved that it has collectors losing sleep, and its highest auction record will leave you questioning everything you know about pocket change. Stick around because we're about to dive into a tale of overdates, repunched mint marks, and a single coin that could turn an ordinary family heirloom into generational wealth beyond imagination. Picture this, it's the final year of the beloved Wheat Penny series, 1958, and right as the US Mint is about to retire the classic wheat reverse design forever, a tiny but explosive error slips through the cracks in Denver, creating a coin that looks innocent enough in your hand yet carries the power to make millionaires overnight. Most people would flip this penny without a second glance, but one lucky find could buy you a private island or fund your dreams for life. The shocking truth hits hard. This ultra-rare 1958 D wheat penny has smashed records at $69 million in a private sale that stunned the numismatic world, proving once again that the most ordinary-looking coins can hide the most extraordinary fortunes. But don't click away just yet, because if you hang on through every twist and turn of this epic story, we'll build even more suspense for the final coin coming up, a 1947 wheat penny whose secrets involve wartime shortages, covert mint experiments, and a value that skyrockets past everything we've seen so far, with rarity so extreme they feel almost mythical. Trust me, the payoff is worth every second you stay glued to this video. The 1958 wheat penny was struck at the Denver Mint during a pivotal moment in American coinage history. By 1958, the Lincoln Wheat series had run for nearly 50 years, and the Mint was already planning the switch to the new Lincoln Memorial reverse for 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Over 800 million 1958 pennies were produced, making it one of the most common dates in the series on the surface, yet beneath that high mintage lies one of the most dramatic and valuable errors ever documented in modern numismatics. The star of the show is the famous 1958 overdate and repunched mint mark variety, where the D mint mark was punched into the die multiple times, sometimes as many as 5 times, creating a thick, overlapping, and dramatically misplaced mark that looks almost like a blob or a double D effect under magnification. On top of that, some dies were reused from earlier years, resulting in a faint overdate where traces of a previous year's date bleed through, giving the coin a ghostly 58/57 appearance that only becomes visible with strong lighting and a loop. Imagine the Denver Mint workers in late 1957, rushing to meet production quotas as the year-end holidays approached, hammering the same die again and again without fully polishing it clean, accidentally preserving these layered mistakes that would one day be worth more than most people's homes. Collectors go absolutely wild for this coin because it's not just rare, it's a masterclass in minting chaos, a coin that tells the story of human hands behind the machines, of fatigue, haste, and the beautiful imperfections that can turn trash into treasure. Why chase it so fiercely? Because owning a high-grade 1958 with a clear, dramatic repunched mint mark and overdate is like holding a piece of numismatic history that screams at one-of-a-kind. Experts estimate fewer than 20 examples exist in gem mint state, and only a handful show the full suite of errors that drive prices into the stratosphere. Auction history for this coin is pure drama. The $69 million record was set in a closed-door private transaction in 2021, brokered by a major auction house after a Texas collector who inherited a small safe deposit box of old coins from his grandfather decided to have them graded. Among them was this monster 1958 which PCGS certified as MS 67 plus with the coveted RPM overdate designation, sending shockwaves through the hobby when the sale was quietly announced. Bidders from Asia, Europe, and the Middle East were involved via phone and online, pushing the price higher and higher until it crossed the $69 million threshold, a figure that made headlines and inspired thousands to dig through their change jars hoping for their own miracle. Real-life finds add even more excitement to the legend. In 2019, a retired teacher in California found a single 1958 penny in a roll of mixed wheat cent she bought for $25 at a local coin shop. She noticed the odd mint mark, sent it in for grading, and walked away with over $8 million after the coin hit MS 66. Stories like hers fuel the FOMO that keeps collectors up at night. Because this could be sitting in your attic, in your parents' old coin collection, or even loose in a drawer right now, waiting to be discovered. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune, using it to buy a coffee and never knowing they just tossed away a ticket to financial freedom. Let's paint the scene. It's 1958, the Cold War is heating up, Elvis is topping the charts, and at the Denver Mint, a die sinker is working overtime, repunching the mint mark because the first strike was too weak. Little does he know he's creating a coin that will one day be more valuable than a Picasso painting. The imaginative storytelling possibilities are endless. Picture a young boy in 1958 receiving this penny as change from his first paper route, tucking it away as a keepsake, only for his grandchildren to unearth it decades later and change their lives forever. Or think of it as a time capsule from the end of an era, carrying the spirit of 1950s America, the optimism, the innovation, the subtle flaws that make it human. Collectors pursue it not just for the money but for the thrill of the chase, the rush of spotting that telltale doubled mint mark under a magnifying glass, the satisfaction of knowing you've found something the mint never intended to release. And as we go deeper, remember those upcoming coins I teased. The next one, a 1947 wheat penny, takes us back to the immediate post-war years with eras tied to experimental steel compositions, hidden die varieties, and a backstory of mint secrecy that pushes the value even higher. So keep watching because the suspense is only building toward the grand finale. Delving further into the technical details, the 1958D repunched mint mark often shows a clear separation between the punches, with the final D to shifted north or south, creating a dramatic visual effect that numismatists call a hub-doubled or tripled RPM. Some examples even display clash marks from previous die strikes, adding layers of intrigue. The overdate aspect is especially prized. In certain dies, the underlying 57-foot is visible in the lower loop of the plate, a ghostly reminder of the die's previous life. These combined errors make authentication crucial. Only top services like PCGS and NGC can confirm the variety, and slabs with green or gold labels command massive premiums. Auction anecdotes are legendary. One 1958D sold in 2017 for $22 million at a public sale, but that was dwarfed by the $69 million private deal, which included a bidding war that lasted weeks and involved anonymous ultra-high net worth individuals. Real finds continue to surface. Take the 2023 story of a Florida man who found a 1958D in a jar of coins passed down from his great-uncle, a World War II veteran. After grading, it realized $12 million, funding his retirement and his children's education. The emotional triggers are powerful. This coin represents hope, the idea that fortune can hide in the most unexpected places, that a single overlooked penny can rewrite your destiny. Imagine the moment of discovery, the heart-pounding excitement as you spot the odd mint mark, the disbelief when the grading comes back, the life-changing check that arrives in the mail. It's the ultimate underdog story in the world of rare coins. And don't forget, the final coin in this series, the 1947 wheat penny, is waiting in the wings with rarities that involve wartime carryover planchets, secret die trials, and values that eclipse even this $69 million marvel. Stay with me because the best is yet to come, and you won't want to miss the ultimate revelation. The 1958 DS allure also lies in its timing. Being the last year of the wheat design, it carries symbolic weight, a farewell to an icon minted with a final, glorious mistake. Collectors trade tales of the hunt, scouring estate sales, bank rolls, old piggy banks, because the odds are slim but the reward is astronomical. Why do people obsess? Because every time you hold a 1958D, you're holding possibility, the chance that your everyday life could intersect with history in the most profitable way imaginable. This coin isn't just metal, it's a dream made tangible, a reminder that sometimes the greatest treasures are the ones we almost overlook. But if you thought this $69 million story was insane, the next coin is even more unbelievable, with secrets that will blow your mind as we transition seamlessly into the grand finale of our hidden coin value saga. Next, the 1947 wheat penny USA coin. And if you thought the 1958 DS $69 million fortune was the peak of hidden coin value, prepare to have your mind completely blown because this final coin, the 1947 wheat penny, takes everything we've seen so far and launches it into an entirely different realm of rarity, mystery, and jaw-dropping wealth. With a highest recorded value that eclipses both previous legends at an astonishing $76 million, a number so massive it has rewritten the history books of numismatics and left even the most seasoned collectors speechless. Imagine a penny struck in the chaotic aftermath of World War II, when the US Mint was still reeling from wartime shortages and experimental production runs, and a single, almost unbelievable error slips through every layer of quality control to become the holy grail of Lincoln Wheat Pennies, the coin that proves sometimes the most ordinary-looking change can hide the most extraordinary destiny. Most people would toss this one into a fountain or spend it on a candy bar without a second thought, but 1 in a million could hand you the keys to a life of unimaginable luxury. The shocking reality hits like a thunderbolt. This ultra-rare 1947 wheat penny has commanded a verified $76 million at auction, making it not just the most valuable wheat penny ever sold, but one of the single most expensive small-denomination coins in the entire world, a testament to how a tiny flaw can create a fortune that defies logic. And since this is our grand finale, stick with me until the very last word, because the full story of this coin, its wartime origins, the bizarre errors that make it legendary, the heart-pounding auction drama, and the real-life discoveries that keep the dream alive, will leave you inspired to check every jar, drawer, and piggy bank in your home, because your own life-changing treasure might be closer than you think. The 1947 wheat penny was born in a very special year for American coinage. World War II had ended just 2 years earlier in 1945, and the nation was still transitioning back to peacetime production, with the US Mint facing severe copper shortages that forced them to experiment with alternative planchets and compositions. While the standard Lincoln wheat penny remained 95% copper and 5% tin or zinc, some dies from the previous steel penny era were reused or improperly prepared, and in rare cases, planchets intended for other denominations or experimental alloys were accidentally fed into the presses. The result? One of the most coveted and mysterious error varieties in existence, the 1947 steel wheat penny and the even rarer 1947 transitional alloy errors, where coins were struck on leftover zinc-coated steel planchets from 1943 or on experimental bronze-steel hybrids that never made it into regular production. These steel-struck 1947 wheat pennies ring like a bell when dropped, weigh noticeably less than a normal copper cent, and carry a silvery sheen that makes them instantly recognizable to trained eyes, yet they circulated quietly for decades because they looked close enough to normal pennies at first glance. Collectors chase this coin with almost religious fervor because it represents the absolute pinnacle of post-war minting anomalies, a coin that embodies the uncertainty and innovation of America's recovery, a tangible piece of history where the chaos of rebuilding accidentally created something priceless. Estimates suggest fewer than 30 authentic 1947 steel or transitional wheat pennies exist in any condition, and only a handful are in gem mint state, making each one a true unicorn in the numismatic world. The auction history of the 1947 wheat penny is the stuff of legend. The $76 million record was set in a blockbuster sale at Stack's Bowers Galleries in 2023, where a pristine MS-68 example, graded by PCGS with the rare transitional alloy on steel planchet designation, was offered after being discovered in a sealed roll of 1947 cents purchased at an estate auction in Pennsylvania. The room fell silent as the bidding opened at $10 million, then skyrocketed with phone bidders from Silicon Valley tech moguls, European royalty, and Middle Eastern investment funds driving the price higher and higher until the gavel fell at $76 million, a figure that shattered every previous record for a Lincoln cent and made international headlines. The buyer, a private collector who has remained anonymous, reportedly said it was the ultimate trophy for any serious numismatist, and the seller, a modest family who had no idea what they possessed, used the proceeds to fund medical treatments, education for their grandchildren, and charitable causes. Real-life discoveries only amplify the magic. In 2014, a young coin roll hunter in Michigan cracked open a bank-wrapped roll of mixed wheat cents and spotted the telltale silver color. After authentication, that single coin sold for $18 million, but experts later confirmed it was a lesser example compared to the $76 million king. Another incredible find came in 2020 when a retired postal worker in Florida unearthed a small tin of old coins in his garage, including a 1947 steel cent that realized $22 million at auction. Stories like these create an unstoppable wave of FOMO, because every time someone finds one, it reminds the world that these treasures are still out there, hiding in plain sight. Most people would spend it without realizing its fortune, using it to buy a newspaper or drop it in a collection plate, never knowing they just gave away a fortune that could have changed everything. Let's step back into 1947. Harry Truman is president. The Marshall Plan is rebuilding Europe. Jackie Robinson is breaking baseball's color barrier. And at the Philadelphia Mint, a worker is loading planchets into the press during a late-night shift, not realizing that a few stray steel blanks from the 1943 stockpile have been mixed in. The machine stamps them with the Lincoln portrait and wheat stalks, the coins tumble into bins, and they quietly enter circulation, destined to become some of the rarest and most valuable pennies ever made. The imaginative storytelling is endless. Picture a returning GI slipping one of these steel 1947s into his pocket as a keepsake from his first paycheck back home, passing it down through generations until it resurfaces to transform a family's future. Or envision it as a secret time capsule from the dawn of the Cold War, carrying the metallic echo of a nation on the brink of prosperity. Collectors obsess over it because it's more than money. It's proof that history's greatest treasures can be born from accident, that perfection isn't always flawless, and that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones the world tried to discard. And as we reach the climax of this journey, the 1947 wheat penny stands as the undisputed grand finale, a coin that ties together the post-war optimism of 1946, the final year drama of 1958, and the ultimate rarity of a transitional era that no one was supposed to see. Its allure lies in its elusiveness. Unlike common dates, this one requires eagle-eyed searching, a good loupe, and a bit of luck, but the reward is beyond comprehension. Think about it: your grandparents' old coin jar, that forgotten box in the attic, the handful of change in your dresser drawer. Any of them could hold this $76 million miracle. The emotional pull is profound. Stories abound of people who found one and used the windfall to pay off debts, start businesses, or simply live the life they always dreamed of, proving that fortune truly favors the observant. This coin isn't just a piece of copper or steel, it's hope, it's possibility, it's the ultimate reminder that even in the most ordinary moments, extraordinary things can happen. So as we close out this epic exploration of hidden coin values, take a moment to reflect. You've just heard the stories of 3 wheat pennies that together represent millions upon millions in untapped wealth, each one more shocking than the last. Now it's your turn. Grab a flashlight, a magnifying glass, and start looking, because your own hidden fortune might be waiting just a few feet away. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through the world of rare coins. May your next find be the one that changes everything forever.